Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, my progression style playthrough series of the Lord of the Rings the card game. I'm playing the fifth quest from the Haradrim cycle, the Dungeons of Cirith Gurat. So, I mulliganed this hand to find resourceful and got it. I picked Gather Information as the side quest I dug out with Thurindir, and I did not mulligan this hand because it has Steward of Gondor and some good Harad allies. Quest setup. Set Uruk Chieftain aside out of play. Add the Captives of Cirith Gurat and one copy of Dungeon Cell to the staging area. Attach a barn to Dungeon Cell. Each player searches the encounter deck for a different orc enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Starting with the first player, each player discards cards from the top of their deck until an ally that is not in play is discarded and attaches that ally to an unattached enemy in the staging area. So, the Captives of Cirith Gurat. While a character is attached to an encounter card, it is considered to be a guarded objective with a blank text box. Forced, when a character is attached to an encounter card, discard each token and attachment on that character. Forced, when an objective is free of encounters, it is rescued and that character's owner takes control of it exhausted. Dungeon Cell. Surge. Gets plus X threat, where X is the printed willpower of the attached objective. While it's in the staging area, it gains forced after an ally is destroyed. Attach it to Dungeon Cell if there is no objective attached to Dungeon Cell. A barn. While a barn is free of encounters, the first player gains control of a barn. Response: after a barn exhausts, choose a Harad character to get plus 1 willpower attack and defense until the end of the round. If a barn leaves play, the players lose the game. This has the most threat. This has the least threat. These two are equal threat, but this has lower engagement cost and would be harder to kill with a character attached. That's my very simple decision-making process for which enemies I should have there. Now discard until we find allies. Captain's Wisdom and the Steward of Gondor. Carliel's Tribesmen, not particularly significant as allies go. I will attach it to the Uruk Wargrider and see if I get something more valuable on this side. Daeron's Runes. Daeron's Runes. Elwer here. Okay. Posing as the Black Serpent's men, you have infiltrated the Orc stronghold of Cirith Gurat in order to rescue the prisoners there. Each enemy and location in the staging area that is guarding an objective is immune to player card effects. Forced, after any number of characters are rescued, reveal an encounter card. This stage cannot be defeated while a guarded objective is in play. The advancement restriction and the forced effect are very annoying in combination because you can't advance until you rescue all the prisoners, but every time you rescue prisoners you reveal more encounter cards and some of those encounter cards can end up causing characters to get captured, so you have more to rescue, which reveals more encounter cards, and you just end up with too many encounter cards flooding the staging area and everything. And it also means that you sort of feel encouraged to go after the locations and enemies which don't have captives, which is sort of counterintuitive because the way it's framed, you're supposed to be trying to rescue the captives. But regardless, let's go Control N, keep watch, alright, and Keldwin Traveller, okay. So, of course, I am immediately playing Steward of Gondor onto Carliel, and exhausting it, and then I'll pay 2 for the Southern Refugee. And leave it at that. Over here, let's see, I'm definitely playing Gather Information. I play Resourceful onto Frodo. I am in Secrecy, so of course the Resourceful is only one, and so is the Keldwin Traveller. Look at the top card of the encounter deck. It is a location, Torture. Okay. I mean, it's annoying, but I think maybe I just deal with it. Set Frodo to generate an additional resource per round. It's unlikely. There's not a lot I could do with one lore resource, so maybe I don't bother playing this Daron's Runes. I'll play it next round when I potentially have more options to play the stuff I draw and also have more options for what to discard. So I'm going to quest to gather information, and I am not going to be able to deal with an enemy this round, but also I don't have to engage them. So we go in with everything, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. There is 7 threat in the staging area. This is +1 from the barn. 2, 4, 7. I reveal the torture room. So, okay. Haradrim spear. Southern refugee. Okay. The odds of that were obviously not very high, which is why I figured I wasn't hugely concerned about it, but I got hit with it. And a Rook of Mordor. So that's added 5 threat to the staging area. I make 2 progress. Okay. Travel to the torture room. I will unfortunately have to reveal an extra encounter card when I rescue this refugee, but hopefully I can deal with it. And that will be it for the round. Not engaging anything. Since this is guarding an objective, each player gets an extra point of threat at the end of the round. Exhaust Steward Gondor. Okay, so here I definitely want Garnbury gone, and Arwen, who will be targeting Frodo, always. And once again, I'm not going to bother playing with Daron's Runes. I'm happy enough with the cards that I have in my hand to just play those. I could play Firial here, so play the Southern Refugee, exhaust her to reduce the cost of the next Harad ally, so I can pay 4 for Firial. I suppose I could also have chosen to play Jubaya, but right now I really want the extra willpower more than the defender. So there is 9 threat in the staging area. I'm questing to gather information again. 2, 4, 6, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18, 20, 22. I need to make 6 progress. It's probably still reasonable. I don't have a lot of attack power to deal with any enemies if I did engage them, is the thing. Though I do definitely need to be thinking about getting ready to deal with enemies. And I can see the first card with Firial. It surges, so I will discard it. Taken prisoner. When revealed, the first player attaches an ally they control to an unattached enemy or location in the staging area. If they cannot, taking prisoner gains doomed 2. So yeah, as I mentioned, this means that I played this ally, but then it just gets taken away, and I'll have to reveal an extra encounter card to get it back. Okay, that's lost me 2 willpower. And a Rook Guardroom. While it's in the staging area, increase the cost to play each ally by 1. Travel, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards until an orc enemy is discarded to add that enemy to the staging area. Well, that's annoying. Okay, that's added 4 threat. I make 7 progress, which will be enough to explore the location and the side quests. So, torture room. Explored. I take control of the Southern Refugee. Exhausted. And because a character was rescued, I reveal an encounter card, Gate of Iron. While it's in the staging area, progress can't be placed on locations in the staging area. Travel, discard the top card of the encounter deck, then the first player must discard a card from their hand with cost greater than the discarded card's threat, or raise each player's threat by 3. Okay, and also explore to gather information. So I guess let's look over here first. Obviously I have more side quests. I could get a test of will, get another resourceful, though obviously I'm not in secrecy anymore. It would be for a future threat drop, or vanish from sight after I discard Falco. Fast hitch could be good, since I am setting up Frodo to be a defender. So, and I do need to start thinking about dealing with enemies. So I'm really looking at fast hitch or test of will, I think. And I mean, I really should get the test of will could be so crucial, but I need the actions, so I think I take the fast hitch. And for this deck, I guess I should possibly just grab a copy of Yazan. I suppose the other option is once again I could grab another side quest, and I'm looking at possibly send for aid, but I think I can't be sure that I would complete it. That's the problem. If I could be confident that I would complete send for aid, then that'd be great, because I could use that to just ramp up my board state that much faster. But then if I can't immediately complete it, then it doesn't do anything for me. So just grabbing the copy of Yazan is the safer, more reliable option, I think. Okay, so my odds on this Gate of Iron, not great. Would be pretty good for this deck. I could go to the Guard Room. It will give me another enemy. I won't have to engage that enemy. I probably should do that. It's a little annoying because I have to shuffle the discard pile back in, and these are a couple of cards that I would kind of prefer not to shuffle back in. But in the long run, I think in the long run this will be better for my staging threat situation. And okay, discarding a bunch of things which are not enemies. That is an enemy but not an orc. Okay, prison guard, but not guarding anything. So, I think next round I should be able to deal with an enemy. and I can start. Yeah, I can really start making a bit more headway. Okay, so let's see. What did I draw for this deck? A Test of Will. Well, that's going to give me a bit of a dilemma, but okay, so I'm definitely exhausting the 2 Southern refugees to reduce the cost of Yazan to 3, so I can play him. And I guess I just play both side quests. I'm not sure which one I want to do first. I'll think about that. So I play a fast hitch onto Frodo, and do I play Quick Beam? Do I finally actually play my Daeron's Runes? Play Quick Beam. And now I debate, do I hold on to a resource for the Test of Will, which could be really important, or get more willpower out with the Handmaiden? What is the threat of the staging area? 2, 4, 7, 9, 12, 15. And I'm requesting for 2, 4, 8, 10, 14, 16, 19, 21, 25 potentially. Probably not clearing a side quest this round, whichever one I go for. But okay, I'm going to play the Handmaiden and reduce this deck's threat by 1. And now questing. Oh, Thurindir is +1 willpower because I explored 1 side quest. So 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 15, 17, 20, 22, 26. Oh, no, 28 rather. Yeah, okay, and Firiel shows me a torture room. I'm kind of inclined to just let it happen again. So, torture room. Haradrim Spear. Oh, but yeah, it does discard the... No, actually, I want to take that back, and I'll shuffle my deck just to be... Because at this point, there's much more risk of like you losing a crucial ally, so I will discard that with Firiel's ability. Instead, I reveal Enfeebled. Each player exhausts a character they control until the end of the combat phase. Exhausted characters cannot ready. Well, that puts paid to my plans to deal with an enemy this round. And another Gate of Iron. So that's added 3 threat to the staging area. I think I said I requested to prepare for battle. And it looks like I've cleared it. So that's pretty cool. Once in the victory display, the first player draws an additional card during the resource phase. I will now travel to a Gate of Iron. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. It is a treachery, so discarding a card with cost greater than the discarded card threat is easy. But of course I also have good options, obviously. I guess I discard Ferial. I can't deal with any enemies, but since I did drop this deck's threat with the Handmaiden, I don't have to engage the Prison Guard. So that's cool. Control N. Okay, Carlisle's Headdress is very much what I want. This deck gets to draw an extra card because of Prepare for Battle. Okay. So now I'm looking at this Heed the Dream and wondering which deck would benefit more from being able to search for a card. I'm not going to pay for the kicker on it. I think I'm going to say this deck. Okay, so from those top 5 cards, I could just get another Fast Hitch or another Fireside Song. I mean, that's certainly a tempting prospect at this point. I think I'm just going to take an extra copy of Arwen, shuffle my deck, and then play Darren's Runes. Then discard Arwen. Play the Legacy Blade onto Faramir, since he's ranged. So he gets two extra attack from that. And yeah, I do think at this point I save up for the test of, well, not save up, save a resource for the test of will, rather than playing another Handmaiden. Although, I think I want to make sure I keep having good willpower, and it does mean I can once again be below the engagement cost of the Prison Guard in case of any unfortunate occurrences. Although Carlisle's Headdress also is pretty good for keeping my willpower in a good place. So I might take back that Handmaiden. Maybe not. Okay, so threaten the staging area. 7, 9, 12, 15. Quest 3, 7, 11, 14, 18, 20, 22, 25, 27, 29, 33. It seems like somewhat overkill. So yeah, I'll take back the Handmaiden, I think. just go 31. Okay, and I reveal Tormented by Orcs. Each player raises their threat by 1 for each guarded objective they own. If any player does not own a guarded objective, oh, I didn't play the Handmaiden. Okay, so that's 2 for this deck, 1 for this deck. That's not a big deal, I think. And oh yeah, I'm questing to keep watch, if I didn't say that. Jailer of Cirith Gurat. After Jailer of Cirith Gurat engages you, attach an ally you control to it. So that's obviously very annoying, but high engagement cost. So I've added 4 threat to the staging area. I make 12 progress, which is enough to explore the location and the side quest. So Thurindir is up to 5 willpower, Faramir is up to 5 attack. All enemies have their attack reduced by 1. I would rather not go to this Gate of Iron right now, because obviously this deck is the one with the higher cost cards. I guess I can go to the dungeon cell. Starting to feel good enough about my board state that revealing some extra encounter cards is more acceptable. And I engage this prison guard. I forgot to consider Ferial, but what was the treachery I revealed? Oh yeah, just a minor threat hit, yeah. I feel okay about that. So this is only 3 attack now. Frodo is 3 defense and Sentinel. Attacking enemy gets +1 attack. Take it as threat. Oh yeah, when I engage, I can use Faramir to ready an ally, Yazan. I only need 5 attack here. So we massively overkill, and I use Yazan after he's declared as an attacker. Deal 1 damage to a non-unique enemy in play. I'll do 1 damage to the Jailer, since of course the others are currently immune to player card effects. Okay, Control N, except hang on. In the refresh phase, I exhaust Carlisle's Headdress to shuffle Ferial back into my deck and draw. Okay, so okay. I mean, I'm thinking that at this point I just played Jubaya. Okay, let's see. I don't have any side quests. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to play a Haradrim Spear onto Yazan. Gives him +1 attack. And then I'm going to exhaust myself on refugees and pay 3 for Jubaya. I think actually, no, hang on. Let me take this back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 1 for Heat the Dream. And to be fair, I will... Oh, I should have drawn an extra card because of Prepare for Battle as well. Send for Aid, okay, and then I'll still... These are not exhausted. Heed the Dream. Okay. I already have Khalil's headdress. The Feint is okay. I mean, Ferial is just readying. So, sure. And then I think I can spare 3 leadership resources to then search the entirety of this deck. And songs, I could start getting the Fireside Song synergy going. I think that's what I do. I just yeah, no, I just grab a Song of Hope. Maybe I should have grabbed a Song of Hope in the first place rather than the Ferial, but they're both good. So I put Song of Hope onto Frodo. He's well placed to make use of it with the Resourceful. So obviously, because the idea is to synergize with Fireside Song, I could have gotten a similar effect by instead playing, getting a Song of Wisdom, and that would then mean that Frodo could pay for lore cards as well as spirit cards, but I don't have any lore cards in hand right now, so it's less urgent. And I'm also going to play Send for Aid. And then, while I have just got the Song of Hope, I'm going to play Handmaiden as my first thing to get more willpower. Okay. Threat in the staging area is 7, 10, 14. Requesting to send for aid. So 3, 7. 12, 14, 18, 20, threat not printed threat, 22, 24. Thinking about that treachery which exhausts characters. I'll have to count again, I think it was 24 though. 3, 7, 11, 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, 28 seems reasonable. Fear shows me an Orc Warg Rider. I'm kind of okay with it. And Injured Companion. Each player must choose either raise a threat by 1 for each character you control or discard a character you control. I don't think it's worth using a Test of Will on this. I think I can discard a Southern Refugee. So also, I can figure out, I need 11 progress. Okay, I'm just not clearing Send for Aid. And I can be okay with that. I guess discard Handmaiden. And I make 7 progress. Okay, sure. So I take control of a Barn exhausted. I take control of him already exhausted. Technically there's no point at which he exhausts, so I can't trigger his response. And I reveal a card Dungeon Walk. Okay, the player who controls the most allies. It's a tie right now, 4 on each side. I will have to kill this Dungeon Walk. Okay, I'm going to take it on this deck undefended. Okay, because it's only 2 attack with Keep Watch. And there might be another undefended attack further down the line. I don't expect to be defending with Carlisle. But that surges into a torture room. Okay. So it travels on King's Gandalf. Okay. Well, that makes my decision of where to travel fairly simple. Well, I guess I could still do the Gate of Iron. Yeah, just because it's good for this deck. So now we go to the Gate of Iron. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. Of course, it's a treachery, but I still will discard Feargal. Probably should have still played that Haradrim Spear, now that I think of it, but never mind. Okay, so engaging enemies, I'm definitely engaging the Dungeon Warg, but I could potentially take another enemy. Or at least I can think about potentially taking another enemy. Yeah, I'm thinking I take this Warg Rider. You kind of, so I optionally engage the Warg Rider, and then the Dungeon Warg comes down naturally. I'm going to ready a barn with Faramir's ability. You kind of see my point about how I'm sort of encouraged to deal with the things which don't have captives, which is sort of counterintuitive, but okay, so a barn is going to defend against the Dungeon Warg, and when he exhausts he gives the boost to himself, so he's 2 defense. It is 2 attack. Attacking enemy's threat is greater than defending allies' willpower. No, it's not, so that does nothing. Frodo is a sentinel, thanks to Arwen, defends against the Warg Rider, plus X attack while attacking a character with less willpower than the Warg Rider's threat. X is the difference. It's a difference of 1, and it's also a -1 attack from Keep Watch, so it just ends up back at 3. Frodo is 3 defense from Arwen, so that does nothing. Well, I know I've removed the attack token, but never mind. It is limit once per phase. But okay, so I attack for 3, 4, kill the Dungeon Warg, deal another point of damage to the jailer in the staging area, ready Yazan, take out the Warg Rider as well. The barn crosses to the other side of the table. Control N. Oh, except once again I should have done Carlisle's headdress first. Okay, I still drew Jabaya, so that's fine. Double back, it's cool. I'll play double back. I'll play Fireside Song. Frodo gets an extra 2 points of willpower. Oh, should have drawn an extra card for prepare for battle. Just another vanish from sight. Okay. And yes, I pay 2 to put a Haradrim Spear onto Yazan. I mean, I certainly could play Jabaya here. Oh, each deck should have gotten an extra point of threat from the Torture Room. Yeah, well, no, it is more willpower. So, threaten the staging area. 7, 10, 14. And I can definitely quest for what? 5, 7, 11, 14, 16, 18, 19, 23, 26, and I can apply a balance boost wherever I want. So yeah, I think I apply a balance boost to Carliel. So I'm questing for 27 against 14. I'm still going to send for aid. And okay, Mines of Cirith Gurat. While they're in the staging area, it gains forced when a player card would reduce a player's threat by any amount, reduce that amount to 1. That's annoying. Travel. Each player discards the top 3 cards of their deck and raises their threat by 1 for each ally they discard this way. And it's annoying, but it's still not worth discarding with Furiel. And a Prison Guard. Okay, 5 threat added to the staging area. So I make 8 progress, which explores the Gate of Iron and send for aid. Now the Legacy Blade is capped at +3. Thurindir is not. So his willpower goes up again. Top 10 cards of my deck. Okay, and see, this is the thing. Now I get a free Jabaya. Shuffle my deck, and over here, top 10 cards. Take Aphelion Lookout or Eladan, or a Cardoon Traveler, I suppose. I think I take Eladan. And I think I really need to deal with these Mines of Cirith Gurat. So let's go there. Discard. No allies. And 1, 2 allies. Because next round I want to do double back, and I want to be able to benefit from it. Okay, I have to engage the Prison Guard. And I probably should engage one of the Orcs of Mordor. I'm thinking this one. So I don't know that it matters that much which way round I put them. In theory I could take both Orcs, but that might be a bit much. So stick with relatively slow and steady, and I guess just like this. I get to ready an ally with Faramir. So one of these is defended by Jubaya and the other is defended by Frodo. It doesn't hugely matter which way round, once again. So sure, Frodo will defend here. Threat is not greater than the defending character's willpower, but it's still +1 attack. So I'll take 1 point of threat. And then Jubaya can discard the shadow card from this one. I should have done them the other way around. Would have saved a point of threat, but never mind. And Elladan, I think, does technically have his attack boost already, because Elrahir is in play. His text box is blank, but his name isn't. I have ranged attack to spare as well, so it works out regardless. Okay, so I kill that orc from Mordor, I deal a point of damage with Yazan up here, I take control of Elrahir exhausted, and I reveal an encounter card. Another Mines of Cirith Gurat. Okay. I hate this. Kill the prison guard. Okay, I'm going to remember to do my Carlisle's headdress before hitting Control N this time. Shuffle that Southern Refugee back into my deck. And Control N. And I draw an extra card. And each deck gets an extra point of threat because of the Torture Room. Right, so Carlisle's headdress is exhausted. I have nothing to spend these resources on. I could hardcast Gandalf, but I mean, what would I do with him? I suppose I could draw more cards, but it's really not that big a deal. Over here, okay, Strider goes on Thurindir. Aban is back over here. I guess that's it. And I should not do double back because I can't get the benefit from it because of the Mines of Cirith Gurat being in the staging area. So there's what, 5, 8, 14 threat in the staging area. Quest for 3, 7, 8, giving his boost to Jubaya. 14, 16, 20, 22, 24, 30. And I'm just going to the main quest. I am okay with this being revealed, so I will not discard it with Furiel. Attach it to the Jailer of Cirith Gurat. Then Fear of Mordor. Okay, each ally in play gets -1 to all their stats until the end of the round. That's probably okay, to be honest. How much willpower do I lose from that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still makes 7 progress. I'm okay with this. I travel to the mines of Cirith Gurat again. So I'll travel, gather information, faint. No allies. Rally the West, Arwen, Elrahir, 2 allies. Okay. So at this point I want to take on both of these. The question is which way round. Once again, it probably doesn't matter. So let's do it this way round. I engaged an orc enemy, so I ready Eldar and Elrahir. I engaged an enemy, so I ready, let's say, a barn. Deal shadow cards. Frodo will defend against the Orc Warg Rider. +1 attack, that's not an issue at all. Jubaya will defend against the Orc of Mordor. Each ally with less willpower than Orc of Mordor's threat cannot defend against it, but he's +1 willpower from Carliel's Headdress. Then I can discard the Shadow card, which was a side quest. Okay. So, whatever I take out the Warg Rider, I deal a point of damage. Up here with Yazan, I take control of Carliel's Tribesman. Exhausted, I reveal an encounter card. Technically, I didn't properly add up the attack, but it will have been fine, because in fact, just Faramir and Merry were enough. I only needed Yazan to participate to use his ability, really. And over here, even with reduced attack power, I've got Faramir available to help out. Kill this Orc of Mordor, take control of this Keldwin Traveller, and reveal another encounter card. Oh, the encounter deck was empty, so I should not have revealed an encounter card there. I'll pretend I didn't see that, because it's not the quest phase. I don't reshuffle the encounter deck when it's empty. Okay, so a barn comes back over here. Carliel's Headdress, I will shuffle this refugee back into the encounter deck. Each deck gets an extra point of threat for the torture room. Control in. And draw an extra card for prepare for battle. The road goes ever on. Okay, so fast hitch. Honestly, I think I just put it on Frodo again. Road goes ever on, can go on double back. Yeah, so I obviously have the ability on Falco. I can discard him to reduce this deck's threat, which will also, if I draw more secrecy cards allow me to use Vanish from Sight, it'll mean that Strider will have Thurindir questing without exhausting, and that's all great, but there's also an effect on the stage 3 quest card which causes you to lose a hero, so I'm considering the possibility that I might want Falco still around for that. And like I said, I mean, it's Thurindir not being ready after questing is not being a problem, and I have no other secrecy cards to get the benefit from Vanish from Sight, so it's not that big a deal, and I can lower my threat with double back. So, threat in the staging area is 3, 9, 12. My quest to double back for 3, 7. 9, 10, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26, 34. That seems like plenty. Gate of Iron is fine, and Uruk of Mordor. So I add 5 threat to the staging area, I make 17 progress. I explore the location, I explore the side quest. Thurindir's willpower goes up again. Both decks drop their threat by 5. And I trigger the road goes ever on. Technically I have to choose a player first, but also technically I could have actually been keeping track of what side quests I still had left. I didn't think this deck had one left. I'm not sure if this deck has one left either, so it's possible this was pointless. Oh no, Scout ahead. The one remaining side quest between the two decks. I'll take it. Okay, now I travel to the torture room. And I don't have to engage the Uruk of Mordor, but I will. So, as per usual, it doesn't particularly matter which way around I put them, so let's go this way. Deal shadow cards, and I feel like my point has sort of been made about how this, because of the forced effect and the restriction on advancement, this stage drags. It's round 8. I'm still on the first quest stage. I will still be on the first quest stage next round. Frodo's going to defend this one. That's fine. Jubaya will defend this one and discard the shadow card. That is also fine. The Elves and Quickbeam can deal with this. I have plenty of attack over here. I trigger Yazan's ability once again to deal damage to the Jailer of Cirith Gurat in the staging area. It's destroyed, so I never had to deal with forced effect. The Mordor Warg is put into the staging area. Oh no, wait. No, the Mordor Warg adds hit points as well. So the Dungeons of Cirith Gurat is still alive. Okay. I don't think I have any Harad allies to shuffle back into my deck at this point. Nope. So Control N. The barn is back over here. Draw an extra card for Prepare for Battle. Soul of Wisdom. Okay. I will play that Song of Wisdom onto Frodo to give him an extra point of willpower. Play this Southern Refugee. Yeah. Over here I play Scout Ahead, and I'm just gonna pay full price for the Celdarin Traveller. And shows me an Haradrim. I mean, it's high threat, but I'm not particularly bothered by that. So, let me remind myself what happens when I advance the quest stage. Yeah, I get more enemies. Yeah, okay, I think I will go to the main quest this round. Questing 1, 4, 8, 12, 19, 21, 26, 29, 31, 35, 41. Reveal the Haradrim and Mordor Warg. They are limit 1 per enemy, so I actually can't resolve that because this is the only enemy in play and he already has one. So that's added 6 threat to the staging area. I make 18 progress. So 4 here, 14 here. This is explored. This deck takes control of Gandalf. Sadly, I never get to trigger his enters play effect because he entered play when he was attached to the location and it blanked his text box. So I do, I think, still resolve the forced effect here and reveal an extra encounter card, a dungeon cell, which surges into Tormented by Orcs, which does nothing and surges. I only have the 1 test of will in hand, right? If I had 2 tests of will, then I would consider cancelling that, but okay. I think I'm probably still okay with that. Can exhaust Quick Beam and Carlyle's Tribesman. And I advance the quest. You've rescued Kaliel's son and several others from their dungeon cells, but you're not free yet. An entire garrison of orcs occupies the fortress above you. One false move could bring them all down on top of you, so you quietly make your way towards the secret exit, hoping to avoid a fight. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Each player discards cards from the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded and adds that enemy to the staging area. So... Okay. Okay. So there are my two enemies. Each enemy in the staging area cannot take damage. Oh, that's annoying. And gets plus X engagement cost, where X is the number of progress tokens here. Forced at the end of the round, reveal an encounter card, then place one resource here if no enemies were engaged this round. The player cannot defeat the stage unless there are at least two resources here. So, I think this is not a good time for an Haradrim. This is a good time for a Gate of Iron. Okay, 3 threat, so let's discard copy of Jubaya. Because these cost greater than the discarded card's threat, not equal to or greater than. It allowed for equal threat, then it'd be easier. Okay, so I have to engage these two enemies. I have no choice about that. Actually, technically I do have a choice about that. I could discard Falco right now, and then I wouldn't have to engage the Uruk of Mordor, but I'm pretty sure I just want to engage them. I can't do any readying because of the treachery, and unfortunately I can't deal damage in the staging area, which is annoying. I was hoping, I'd forgotten about that effect, and I was hoping that I could just take out this jailer in the staging area and never have to deal with him. As it is, I may have to deal with him at some point. There's a part of me that's tempted to engage him just so I can attach Gandalf to him. But I don't think I have the actions. Like, to do that, I think I would have to also discard Falco and then not engage the Uruk of Mordor. Okay, so I think we go this way around. Yeah. Deal shadow cards. Can't ready, so Frodo defends against the Uruk of Mordor. Jubaya defends against the Mordor Warg, discarding the shadow card. I was thinking there about, maybe I could engage the jailer, and I could take the Mordor Warg undefended because it's only one attack. I might even be able to just put 1 damage on Falco, where it would I'd eventually discard him, but yeah. The issue with that is I probably wouldn't be able to kill everything, and if I did kill the jailer, then the Mordor Warg would be returned to the staging area, and that would be another enemy that I would definitely have to engage. So, as it is, I can take out both. Oh yeah, also, obviously this deck is lower threat, so I had to optionally engage that Uruk. Thanks to the +1 from the Haradrim Spear, Yazan can take out the Mordor Warg by himself. So I'm going to be using Kaliel's Headdress to Shuffle that copy of Dubai back into my deck. Gandalf is discarded at the end of the round. Oh, yeah. At the end of the round, reveal an encounter card. Surge. First player attaches an ally that. So this is after the first player token has moved to an unattached enemy or location in the staging area. So I'm slightly tempted to attach a barn again, but I think I'll just put the Keldrin Traveller up on this jailer. Okay. And now we control N. And an extra draw. Okay, another Legacy Blade. They are not limit one per hero, so we'll just give another one to Faramir. So Faramir is now 8 attack. It's pretty nice. Yeah, Frodo is a solid enough defender at this point that I think I just do this. Over here, Song of Wisdom, I guess. Oh no, wait, I already gave Frodo a Song of Wisdom. I suppose technically there's no limit on how many you can play on the same hero, so Frodo can have another lore icon and it still gets some extra willpower from Fireside Song. So, okay, threat in the staging area is 6, 10, 12, 15. I think I go to the main quest. So 3, 7, 11, 12, 19, 21, 27, 30, 32, 40, I'm inclined to say that's enough. And I see this with Ferial. But it's not that big a deal, so I will leave it be. Oh no, wait, if any player does not own a guarded objective against Surge, so it would be +1 threat for this deck and Surge, so no, anything which surges, discard it with Ferial, of course. Jailer of Cirith Gurat. And Rook of Mordor. Okay, so 6 threat added to the staging area. I make 19 progress. So there we go. All enemies are getting +17 engagement cost. So that's nice. going to travel to a dungeon cell. I am not going to engage any enemies. I don't think I have any Harad allies to shuffle back into my deck. I do not. So at the end of the round, I reveal an encounter card, Prison Guard, and place a resource here if no enemies were engaged this round, which they were not. Control N. Get to draw an extra card, Song of Hope. I'm going to play that Song of Hope onto Khalil, because he has a ridiculous stack of resources and can make very good use of it. Another test of will. That's nice. How many sneak attacks do I have left in my deck? I've only lost one, so there are 2 more in these 16 cards that I have remaining. Okay. So, I'm questing to scout ahead. Go 1, 4, 8, 12, 19, 21, 27, 20, 29, 37. Obviously, I could be sending more, and I shouldn't need the additional willpower because I shouldn't be engaging enemies because of this. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, well, in case something goes wrong. Also, it's possible that if there are too many enemies, I might be in a situation where I feel like I kind of have to engage enemies just so that I have less enemies in play when I advance the quest, and they no longer have plus 17 engagement cost. So Ferial shows me this, which surges, so discard it. Orc Ward Rider and Injured Companion. Oh, okay. I'm okay with discarding characters. That loses me 2 willpower. And I've added 3 threat. I make 11 progress. So Scout Ahead is explored. That's another point of willpower for Thurindir. And I can look at the top 6 cards of the encounter deck. Okay, so this surges, which makes it a good candidate to remove. This is very annoying because I rely on a certain amount of readying. Although, what happens if you reveal something at the end of the round, which lasts until the end of the combat phase? Which that probably would mean until the end of the next combat phase, so I do not want to reveal this at the end of the round. So what happens when I advance? Yeah, a bunch of engagement checks. So I want to reveal locations next round. Oh, I have access to Ferial, so I could Ferial discard a treachery. I'm going to add this warg to the victory display. Okay. Then once again I travel to a dungeon cell. I do not engage any enemies. Oh no, wait, I forgot about the reveal at the end of the round. So I think that basically just means I'm getting this regardless. Although I could cancel it actually. That's a fine option. Discard it once, cancel it the other time. So, I also have an ally to shuffle back into my deck with Khalil's Headdress in the refresh phase. At the end of the round, I reveal the Mines of Cirith Gurat, and I place a resource here. There are now 2 resources here and more than enough progress, so I advance the quest. One of the captives stumbles from exhaustion and the noise alerts the guards. When revealed, the first player adds a chieftain to the staging area. Each player chooses a hero they control, discards all tokens and attachments from it, and attaches it to an unattached enemy in the staging area as a captive. Then the players make a standard series of engagement checks against each enemy in the staging area. Reduce the engagement cost of each enemy not guarding an objective to 0 during these engagement checks. So, I'm just going to have Falco be my expendable hero, and over here it's going to be Mary. You'll note that I've handily not put any attachments on them. It's not that I was absolutely never going to put attachments on them, but I was trying to. But it kind of worked out that way that I could easily avoid it. So we're going to go like this, I think. And now I make standard series of engagement checks. So, and everything is reduced to everything not guarding an objective, which is why I put the Celtic Traveller on this guy, so I still don't have to engage him. Everything not guarding an objective is reduced to 0 engagement cost, including the Orc Chieftain, though the Orc Chieftain will move around. So I mean, Faramir and Yaza are both ranged, so whereas this deck has non-ranged attack in Eladan and Quickbeam. So I guess I want more enemies here, so if I take the Orc Chieftain, because since they're all reduced to 0, they're all the same engagement cost, and so it's just there will be 2 on each side of the table. Because I could, since they're all 0, I can do them in any order. Okay, and that's how we'll end up. Horns echo through the dungeon, and the orcs come running with weapons drawn. You will have to fight past them to escape. Forced at the beginning of the quest phase, discard cards from the encounter deck. Okay, I forgot that that was a thing. Until an enemy is discarded, and add that enemy to the staging area. The stage cannot be defeated while a guarded objective is in play. If the players defeat this stage, they win the game. I'm going to retcon my scout ahead, because if I'd remembered this effect, I would obviously have just put the Dungeon Warg on top of the deck, because it's a fairly inoffensive enemy when it's not revealed. Okay. All that being done, Control N. Carl's headdress is exhausted. Aban is over here. I found another Gandalf, but still no sneak attack. This deck draws an extra card. The third test of will. That's pretty great, actually. Yeah, actually, technically this says play only if you control 2 or fewer heroes. Nothing about owning 2 or fewer heroes. So while Falco is up here, I can use it, but I don't have any secrecy cards to use it with. And it would be fairly irrelevant if I did. Fireside Song is limit 1 per hero and it only attaches to hobbits. So the second copy would have to go on Merry once I get him back. Because obviously I'm not putting it on Falco, I'm going to discard Falco at some point. So I guess not playing anything. And over here, I mean, hardcasting Gandalf seems like a pretty solid option at this point. Either to draw more cards or just to do damage. The only enemy I could outright kill with that damage would be this already damaged jailer. Yeah, I do have to reclaim all the guarded objectives. But, yeah, okay. I think I definitely think that hardcasting Gandalf is the play here. And ultimately I probably should just do damage because there's... Oh yeah, when I said I can't outright kill an enemy, I can't outright kill an enemy that's in the staging area. I could kill this prison guard or the Uruk of Mordor. I think I kill the prison guard, honestly. So the Uruk Chieftain, while engaged with another orc enemy, Uruk Chieftain cannot take damage. Okay. So, questing. Oh yeah, of course, this also, I control 2 or fewer heroes, because I currently don't control Falco, so Thurindir will quest without exhausting. Threat in the staging area is 6, 10, 13, 17, 19. And at the beginning of the quest phase, I discard until I get an enemy. So 20. But wait, I know what I'm going to add. I think it's one of these. Oh, Gandalf should have cost 1 more. That's fine, I have resources to burn. So it's going to be 24 threat in the staging area. Have access to readying. So let's see, I can go 4. Four, 7, 15, 16, 22, 24, 30, I mean, I have time, so I don't have to worry about if I'm not making a huge amount of progress. So Ferial shows me Enfeebled, which I discard. I then reveal an Haradrim, and Enfeebled, which I cancel. If you look at that, it's like I knew what was coming. So there's 24 threat, and I'm questing for it was 30, which means I explore the dungeon cell and put 1 progress on the quest. I'm okay with this. I travel to the mines of Cirith Gurat. Okay, that's 1 ally. There goes a sneak attack. Okay, there go my sneak attacks. 1 ally, so 1 point of threat. And over here, 1 ally. Now, I have to engage the dungeon warg. I don't have to engage anything else, but it could be nice to engage other things and deal with them. Obviously, yeah, I haven't been noting, but of course, yeah, the after any number of characters are rescued, revealed, and encounter card is only on stage 1. So now, that's not a problem. So it would be good to get heroes back. Oh yeah, this was a plan. So this deck is going... No, wait. That doesn't make sense. I was thinking, oh yeah, this deck will optionally engage the jailer, and I attached Gandalf, because that was a thing I was thinking about, because thinking, oh, well, he's a temporary ally anyway, but then I specifically didn't quest with him. Yeah, so, okay. Frodo can defend 3 times. Jubaya can defend once. I have a feint, but I can't play it. Elrahir could defend something. So, what do I go? Like this. Option engaged an orc, so I ready those 2. I attach this handmaiden, and over here I guess I ready Ferial, and then the chieftain will end up over here. It's probably too many attacks for me to also take the Warg Rider. Oh no, wait, the chieftain has the highest engagement cost. So, I suppose actually if I want more quest progress, I could have just paid resources, which I don't need. Looks good. Okay, so Jubaya can discard 1 shadow card from a non-unique enemy, so not the chieftain. Chieftain is also not affected by Keep Watch, so he is attacking for 5. that said, Jubaya has been getting the boost from the Barn, so he's 4 defense. So, okay. Jubaya defends against the Chieftain and discards the shadow card from something else. I guess this is the highest attack, so get rid of that shadow card. Okay, 1 damage. That's fine. So let's say Frodo defends this. Elver here is going to defend the one with no shadow card. Frodo defends this. +1 attack. Not a problem. And Frodo defends the Warg. Nothing. Okay. So, I need 7 for the Jailer, 6 for either of the others. So, okay, I go 3, 6, 7 for the Jailer. Mary should not have a resource, but there we go. Yazan is 4 and Thurindir is 2. Take out this and Yazan will ping the Jailer in the staging area. Faramir is 8 attack. Take out the Warg Rider by himself. Gandalf can deal with this Warg. And that looks pretty good. Oh right, yeah, the resources, because I hit Control N and I didn't lock the heroes. So there's nothing at the end of the round. I believe I have an ally for the headdress. So shuffle back in. Control N, Gandalf is discarded at the end of the round. The Barn is back over here. I draw an extra card. Okay, and now I have access to this feint. I can also play this Tribesman. And yeah, at this point I'm gonna put Fireside Song onto Merry, even if it's only 1 extra willpower for 2 resources. Just why not, really, at this point. Oh, there are 2 guard rooms in the staging area, so it actually cost me 4 to play that Tribesman. I don't care, I can afford it. So the threat in the staging area is 6, 10, 14, 17. So I quest for 3, 4, 8, 12. 20, 26, 28, 30, 36. Honestly, that's overkill. I know that I can ready these 2, but I mean, what if I get that treachery? Yeah, you can just go 32. And this surges, so I discard it with Firigal. One for each guarded objective. This deck does not own any guarded objectives, so this would surge, so I'm just going to cancel it. Also, I'm so close to finishing the quest at this point. And okay, how much willpower will I lose from this? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I make 8 progress. Cool. Alright, I was thinking of playing Gandalf again. I'm going to retcon that in because it's sort of relevant. And I was just going to drop my threat. I don't need to travel. Yeah, let's engage the Wild Rider here, which means the Chieftain will also remain here. I feint the Chieftain. And I think, yeah, Jubaya can defend against the Wild Rider, discarding the Shadow card, just to be sure. So he is -1 to all his stats, but he's also +1 to all his stats from a barn. I can give him another +1 with Carlisle's Tribesman, putting him up to 4 defense and 2 willpower, which means the Wild Rider only gets +1 attack, so he takes no damage. And now I can attack for a lot, significantly including Yazan. Oh, actually no, not including Yazan. I guess technically it's fine. I probably had enough attack power anyway, but I definitely do if I include Faramir. Take out the Wild Rider. Take control of Folko Boffin, exhausted. Discard Folko Boffin to drop this deck's threat by 7. Not that it really matters, because now I declare an attack with Yazan against the Uruk Chieftain, and after he declares an attack, I deal 1 damage to a non-unique enemy in play. I do it to this Jailer of Cirith Gurat, which means the Mortal Warg is freed. Well, not freed, released. Keldwyn Traveller is freed, and now there are no guarded objectives in play. And I win the game. So yeah, it's a very long quest. There's interesting stuff going on with mechanics, for sure, but it just gets a bit tedious, and most of that comes down to the way the first stage works. And like I say, I kind of get the point about why it reveals extra encounter cards, because otherwise some of the effects you're just getting free allies, and it would be easy for that to just end up overwhelming, making it too easy to just overwhelm the encounter tech. But the flip side is that, you know, you have this where you end up taking ages on stage 1, it's potentially you can potentially take a while on the stage 2, just because if you end up accidentally engaging enemies, then you get stuck. And stage 3, not so much. Either you're ready to deal with all the enemies and you do, or you don't, or you aren't and they kill you. But yeah, it leads to it being kind of a long quest. Mostly it really is just stage 1 that really makes it drag and makes me like it less. The other stuff can be kind of fun. But yeah, regardless, I've obviously made it through. Possibly a bit lucky. I've been questioning whether I should redo the decks and try something a bit different, but I got it to work this time, so this is the playthrough that gets uploaded. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.